want to let you know that there is a definitive blueprint that you can follow to achieve.
I would want to inform you that there is a clear path to success that you can pursue. Peace of mind, longevity, and prosperity. Listen, I would really like to work with Eddie, but he doesn't pick up when I phone, so perhaps we can talk someday. I believe Eddie reached a point in his life where he said, "Look, I've seen it all, I've done it all." We were riding around the Tyler Perry studio, and I won't lie to you, I've never seen anything like this. We were sitting in the service when Eddie Murphy returned, and this time he was telling us why Tyler Perry was the next person on the FBI's list of names. I leaned up toward him and said, "I've just been touched to give $1 million. And it turned out that he had some connections to Diddy, who was already deeply involved in some serious investigations. We all know Tyler Perry as the media mogul and mastermind behind the entertainment industry, but Eddie is implying that there may be more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. Is Perry simply caught in the crossfire, or is there something shady hiding beneath those A-list friendships? Tyler Perry told his male actors they are not permitted to associate with him because I saw you at a Dottie party. Let's find out. Whenever we discuss Diddy and his dubious relationships with artists, Tyler Perry's name somehow always ends up in the conversation. It's kind of strange, but when you hear the same thing over and over again, there's usually some truth to it. The worst part is that rumors have it that Tyler is actually working for Diddy, and guess who let that little secret slip? Eddie Murphy himself. Sometimes those instincts turn out to be spot on, but let's hear what Eddie had to say about it. Eddie Murphy just dropped a truth bomb about how Hollywood has been treating black actors for years. He basically called out the industry for purposely keeping them divided instead of united. Murphy didn't sugarcoat it either. He hinted at some shady stuff happening behind the scenes to keep this separation going strong. It's a messed up reality where black actors are being pitted against each other instead of lifting each other up. What's worse, he says these toxic dynamics are getting passed down to the next generation, making the divide even deeper within the community. It's a serious issue that needs some real attention, but why is there so much fear? People have been talking about Eddie Murphy's insane output, like over 50 movies in under 5 years, but only a handful of those films were directed by black directors. That really makes you think about how the industry operates and might explain why Eddie and Tyler Perry haven't linked up on a project. Yet it's like there's this weird hesitancy, and it's not just them the same. Energy seems to be the reason why we haven't seen Will Smith and Denzel Washington work together on a number of films, the way Al Pacino and Robert De Niro continue to do. It's almost like an unwritten rule keeps them apart. And honestly, it's a shame because the kind of magic they could create together would be legend. Yes, it was wise, especially since we are meeting for the first time, which is important. So yeah, that does help. The reason Tyler and Eddie Murphy haven't teamed up seems to go a little deeper right now. People all over the world are realizing how vulnerable black lives are, primarily because of all the messed up outcomes linked to systemic issues. And more people are realizing how important it is to push for real change, especially when it comes to economic empowerment. The president of the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce says more businesses are asking her for assistance. Funny enough, Eddie Murphy's only Oscar nomination came from Dreamgirls, which was directed by Bill Condon. In interviews, Eddie even acknowledged that he didn't put the same amount of effort into that role as he does into his comedic work. Eddie Murphy has been giving some clues about shady things happening in the industry, and it has people wondering if Tyler Perry might be involved. It's as if he's subtly revealing how things can get pretty behind the scenes in Hollywood. George Carlin was one of the funniest individuals ever. He won this W award, and detractors are still tearing him down. Eddie Murphy's famous portrayal of the entire Klump family in The Nutty Professor, where he lavished on prosthetics and makeup, wasn't a one-time event. He repeated the same magic in the Coming to America films, particularly in that hilarious barbershop scene that everyone remembers. I'm not saying that Clay isn't good. I'm just saying that I stopped liking Cash Clay after changing his name, ma'am. In an interview with Coming to America director Craig Brewer on the Real Blend podcast, Ollie brought up Eddie Murphy's frequent rejections by the Academy. Brewer didn't hold back, saying, "It really bothers me. I feel like it's even more stilted against Eddie because people think it's easy for him. Sure, maybe some things come naturally to Eddie, but what people don't see is the work behind the scenes. I see him in the makeup. Chair, listening to music, getting into the zone, rehearsing lines on set. He doesn't mess around. He goes back to his chair between takes and gets into the trance, working and working. There's real craft there, but I worry people assume, oh, Eddie's just being funny like always. That's not. True, yes, he's hilarious, but it's not just flipping a switch. Fans agree it's an unfair judgment, and Eddie isn't. The only comedian overlooked by the Academy, one person vented online, no one ever said Hollywood had morals. The awards are rigged. He had one of the most realistic gunfights ever filmed, and it didn't even get an Oscar nod. Another chimed in award show, or all about which studio. Spends the most to sway the jury like Weinstein used to do. And let's not forget Hollywood's a problem with child actors. Some people think that these annoyances could be the reason Eddie won't collaborate with Tyler Perry. I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry, so I'm going to say this because it's funny that he has so much money to do everything. But the woman didn't stop there. She boldly claimed that Tyler Perry has a fear of white people, suggesting that this influences his movies and the choices he makes. Her strong statement gained some traction, and other people jumped in to share their thoughts on Tyler and his work. They said they loved the script, but weren't sure how the film was going to turn out, so they passed. These videos raise the possibility that there is a secret beyond the surface, which begs the issue of what Tyler Perry's secret might be and why certain performers with darker skin tones have declined to collaborate with him. Tyler Perry's rise from the Atlanta theater scene to the top of the box office with his media series has undoubtedly had a significant impact. But like any success story, there have been setbacks and scandals along the way. There are rumors that Perry's ego may have gotten a little out of control, which led to conflicts with well-known figures in Hollywood like Oprah. The game can be cutthroat, and sometimes you have to be a little ruthless to succeed. It seems Tyler Perry isn't above that kind of pressure because before diversity became a thing, there weren't any black people on television. For a long time, Tyler Perry was the only one. It was a big step for Tyler Perry to enter the television industry with his sitcom House of Pain, but it wasn't without drama. When he was negotiating a syndication contract and a spin-off series called Meet the Browns, things got a little ugly because of deadlines. Writer Terry Jackson didn't hold back when he said that we were good enough to produce more than 100 episodes. But now that it's time to profit from the syndication and spin-offs, Perry decides to let us go unless we accept a terrible offer. This caused a great deal of outrage in the industry when Perry fired 4 writers who were requesting union contracts. In response, Perry essentially stated that he would do all of the writing himself, but the 2015 actor union SAG conflicts continued. Because Perry's production company refused to sign union contracts, AFRA and Actors Equity prohibited their members from taking part in Perry's stage play Media on the Run. It appears that Perry is all about making as much money as possible, but not everyone agrees with his strategy. There's a camera on you, baby, and on your right back behind you. Oh, praise the Lord. We'd like to let everyone in Dallas know that we are on our way. Thank you. African-American journalist and cultural critic Jamila Lemieux wrote an open letter to Tyler Perry that was broadcast on National Public Radio. In the letter, Lemieux expressed her displeasure with Perry's use of stereotypes in his work, saying that the nation has mocked one of the most significant members of the black community, Mother Dear, the beloved matriarch. I just can't quite get with seeing Mother Dear played by a 6'3" man with prosthetic breasts flopping in the wind, Lemieux wrote. Mr. Perry, many black people have voiced some of the same opinions about your work that white critics have praised. Director __. I appreciate that you told the Hollywood old guard to kiss your ass, brother. Another well-known person who has chastised Tyler Perry for his usage of cliched characters is Lee. Although Lee has openly expressed his disapproval of Perry's storytelling style, I still believe there is a lot of stuff